Welcome back to the Automation Show. Today we're going to be covering ARM64 Linux browser automation with CAPTCHA-bypass, and we're also going to be talking about GitHub Actions and Microsoft Copilot. By the end of this presentation, you're going to combine everything that you've learned in order to be able to run browser automation scripts directly from GitHub Actions, Ubuntu ARM64, and then we'll be querying Copilot, which has some CAPTCHAs on it to protect the information. So we're going to bypass that and then get the data and then upload that artifact to GitHub Actions so you can download the full page source from what you just queried. So let's run a simple example of that right from the command line. We're going to call a script Python raw CDP Copilot, which is going to use the SeleniumBase test automation framework in order to query Copilot. And then as it does this, you're going to see that a Cloudflare CAPTCHA is going to come up, but that's not going to be a problem for SeleniumBase because it has a special tool that allows you to click on CAPTCHAs and bypass them. And then as you can see here, Copilot is creating the answer for SeleniumBase. You can scroll down here, you can see that it's all coming out. And then once it completes its response, SeleniumBase is going to save that information and then output the HTML to a file. So you can see here, it was saved here in the downloaded files folder Copilot results. So let's open that up. I'm going to do open that. And you can see that these Copilot results were saved. So this is the script that I ran. And if you're wondering where that script came from, you can find it in SeleniumBase. If you go to the examples folder and then go to CDP mode, which is the special stealth mode of SeleniumBase, you'll find a ton of various examples. The one that we ran just now was raw CDP Copilot. Here it is right here. And you can see it had various actions such as performing the query, clicking the CAPTCHA, waiting for results, and then finally outputting the HTML of that to the special folder that was provided. And then that is basically the script that we're going to be running in GitHub Actions, as you can see here. So you may have noticed that earlier this year, Linux ARM64 hosted runners became available in GitHub Actions for free for public repositories. Here's the blog post on that. And you could easily specify using Ubuntu ARM64 with this command here, so that inside your GitHub Actions YAML file, you could specify that. Also, a few things to point out that may be important. Chrome does not officially support ARM64 Linux. However, there were alternatives, such as using regular Chromium instead of Google Chrome in order to do this. So just by doing sudo apt-install chromium-browser, as you can see below here, you would be able to install Chromium onto an ARM64 Linux machine, so you could use that for your browser automation. And if we go into the script, here's the script that we ran, and you'll also see there's a recent news update in the SeleniumBase repo that ARM64 Linux support has been added, which is good because you combine all those things and now you can basically have your GitHub Actions YAML file running SeleniumBase and bypassing CAPTCHAs in order to scrape Copilot results. So here you can see in the matrix, we're specifying that Ubuntu ARM64 instance, and then we're going to be installing dependencies and then running the script. You can see here Python examples raw cdp copilot.py, and then we're going to upload the artifact using the actions/upload artifact command. And if you upload the artifact, you'll see that there will be a link to it. So if we click on that from the GitHub Actions job and we save it, you'll see that if we open it and we click here and we go to copilot results.html, you can see that it was able to save those Copilot queries, or the Copilot query that we made with SeleniumBase right here, so that you can just download it directly from GitHub Actions. And this is pretty cool because I don't think anyone else is able to query Copilot and scrape the data like that, bypassing CAPTCHAs. I mean, there are other frameworks that come close, but nothing with the stealth capabilities that SeleniumBase provides. So if you're not familiar with SeleniumBase already, it's a powerful browser automation framework. It's basically Python APIs for web automation, testing, and bypassing bot detection. And there's just a lot that it can do. For instance, it can do multi-threading pretty well now, which it probably didn't before. So if we do something such as Python raw multi CAPTCHA.py, it's going to spin up several different browsers, and then for each one, PyAutoGUI is going to come in and click on the CAPTCHA so that it can bypass all that. So all those are pretty much happening multi-threaded, but since there's only one mouse pointer, PyAutoGUI can only click one CAPTCHA at one time. So that's why it queries them all up, and then it goes from one CAPTCHA to another as PyAutoGUI clicks through all that. So that essentially covers everything that we're going to be learning today. So here's the GitHub Actions YAML file. I run a bunch of tests in the SeleniumBase examples repo from MDMints, my own personal repo, but I also create SeleniumBase in its own separate thing with the SeleniumBase organization, and then SeleniumBase repo where you'll basically have the README file and all the instructions that you may want in order to bypass CAPTCHAs, scrape data, perform automated testing. It's pretty cool. You can run all these tests in GitHub Actions and it works just as well there. And there's always lots of updates coming in. I'm always, I think I just updated it like 21 minutes ago because I needed to give Copilot more time to think because sometimes it's really slow to come up with an answer. So I just added a little more wait time there just in case it needs it. But yeah, we get tons of releases regularly, and there's lots of stuff here. So be sure to check out the SeleniumBase page on GitHub, and there'll be tons of examples running from GitHub Actions so that you can uh, basically run whatever you want. All right, well, have fun automating everyone, and I'll see you all next time.